Hello, this is a Robin's Nest by Terry. This is Let Freedom Ring. The host is Buckeye Girls Reason Things. The Grace Life DIY Home Decor. Art by Connie. Up All Night DIY. And all the other co-hosts will be in my description box, as well as a playlist to check out their amazing videos on 4th of July and patriotic inspiration. If you haven't joined the family and subscribed to my channel, please do. And because you never know what Terry's going to paint next.
Certain things to seal with because I don't. And this is going to turn out really cute. And I'm telling you, you could make, just look really cute sitting out on your porch, on your patio table if you have friends over for, the 4th of July. Oh, you could put not only artificial flowers, but any of those things that you get. Some little flags sticking out of it would be cute. So we're going to go ahead and get that part. And we're going to kind of rough it up with some burnt umber, get a dark look to it. But I just want you guys to see, because I know that's one of the biggest questions I get asked, because I paint, and I have painted. I've been a crafter for 25 years full time, and I'm always asked, how do you prep all your stuff? Black spray paint, guys. You don't need no primer. You don't, as long as you want it black. Now, if I wanted the stainless steel color, I still wouldn't use a primer. I'd just make sure that I didn't over wet my brush, and it would be just fine. Okay, so the blue's not going to show up that well because I love Stramcoat's Midnight Blue. It's my favorite. Now, I want to keep it primitive looking, so that's why we're going to do that. And instead of using white, let's use an off-white, so we can shade it to off-white, I guess. Add some white. We talk about whipping up some really cute 4th of July stuff. In fact, while this is drying, I'm going to show you one that I went over on YouTube the other night and did. I took the same type of teapot. See how we're going to do the red, white, and blue stripes, or the red and white stripes. This, I kind of wish I would have done American Black. That's why I haven't sealed this. So I'm going to finish that. And then on this side, I painted it with kind of a red, white, and blue sunflower. So it's reversible. But you can see how I will make it shiny with my glossy overspray. But you could put a matte finish if you don't like the gloss. But that's how cute these teapots can be without a lot of work. And they sell really well because they're different and people can just set them anywhere. Hello, Wanda again. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Sue. I know. I don't know what it is. I just haven't. I've been busy. It's not that I haven't been busy. I'm trying to get back into making product is where I've been. And I just got a new sublimation machine about a month ago, and still haven't opened it yet. And so got my glow forge going, or I got it out of the box. I cut a couple things with it. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you. Hi, Michelle. Oh, there's Melissa. Hi, Deborah. Thank you, Sandy. So I'm going to just show you how you can do them really quick, though. just take a 1-inch brush, and it would be just as easy to just paint white all the way around, and then all you have to worry about is your red stripes. I'm just going to come in here and do it quickly like this, because I'm in shade between my stripes. Anyway. Well, and I tell you, I've been hanging out more on my personal page. I'll have to share this to my personal page. I'm getting more interaction on my personal page than I am on my business page for some reason. But I was pretty excited. I got signed up with Comments Sold today, and I'm going to be selling product pretty quickly. I'm going to put a big one right there. So if you're a person who likes napkins, that would be really pretty on here. Let's dry that up real quick before we add the red. Oh, thanks, Sue. I'm getting back into the beachy stuff. I love my sea turtle I did the other day. I need to get on here and make some small sea turtles. The box is open, but I mean, the Glowforge box is open, and I have cut a couple things with it, but I just haven't really had time to play with it, so. I have not taken all the tape off the sublimation machine, and it's kind of scary because I got a great big one that does up to 24 inches, and it's like, why did I get such a big one for? All right, so we got Heritage Brick. I like that for a dark red color. And when you're working on metal, you don't want to have your brush very wet at all. That is just a simple blow dryer for your hair. No, it's not. It's a heat tool. Huh. I didn't know I had that. Hi, Renee. Did you get your cow yet? I didn't even know it was a heat tool. I don't even remember where I got it now. I had a pointed one that was like a nozzle, and so I thought I had a darn hair dryer. Don't know. That's pretty bad when you buy stuff and you don't remember where you got it or even what it is. I've been you know what, and it's kind of crossed my mind why it's not so loud. That's why it's not so loud. And that's why. Okay, so now you just go back. I mean, this is not even something that I normally do because it's so easy, but since I had some teapots, I'm kind of saving everything for Halloween, guys. I love patriotic colors, but it's not creative enough for me because you can't do anything with it. It's like red and white stripes, and I can paint an eagle on it, but to paint stuff, it's kind of not. What do you do with red, white, and blue other than just a flag? And so while I love it, and I buy other people's stuff for it, I was never in the, I never had to paint it because when we did craft shows, we never had any good shows June, July. you know, so I didn't have to paint it. Now it's like, what do you do with it? I put a sunflower on it. I did a jacket. I have my sitting Uncle Sam's, but it's not like, you know, Halloween or fall or Christmas. So I didn't want to use any of my different things that I've got to paint red, white, and blue. It's just a hard, and I'm only doing red, white, and blue. Otherwise, you guys would have seen a sea turtle tonight. But Melissa over there, I know she's checking on me because she needs a video of something red, white, and blue. So that's why we're doing red, white, and blue tonight. Otherwise, you guys would be seeing a sea turtle. How many of you like sea turtles? Oh my gosh, I painted the cutest sea turtle ever. And I'll show you real quick while that dries. This is what I was going to come on here and do. He doesn't look very good yet, but that's my sea turtle. He don't look very good, but I'll show you what he looks like after I painted him. Let's see. Once you get all the pretty colors on him, then look how he turns out. Once you do all that shading and highlighting, isn't he cute? Oh, he's adorable. So I made 2 of these this week, and I will be having these printed on wood, so I can sell them. But tonight's kind of Melissa's red, white, and blue night. Hi, Ruth. Yay! I'm sorry it took so long, Renee. I used to do all beach stuff for a couple of years. See, that's the first sea turtle I've ever painted. I don't know. I just never. You know, I'm in the cornfields of Illinois. And I used to have my booth all done up for tiki bars and swimming pools and hot tubs. And then I was the one person who got in trouble by Jimmy Buffett for using the lettering, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so I got a cease and desist letter. So I was like, oh, I'm done with the tropical stuff. That kind of, I was like, man, everybody else is using it, but I can't, so I kind of quit. But we used to wholesale it up and down the East Coast. And it was great because, especially at Christmas time when people needed gifts, you know, I didn't even have snowmen for a couple of years because nobody did it. Everybody was all the other things, so I had the category about to myself. See, and I'm not even worried about going over into my white because all of those are going to be dark. I did paint a sea turtle. Did you see it, Linda? It's cute. I'll show it to you again. And I'm painting one that's, I'm gonna paint a few of them because I've gotten like 450 likes on this thing on my Facebook page. Isn't he just the cutest? It's like, that's one of the best things I've painted for a while, I think. But he is absolutely adorable. And what I'll do is I will have these printed on wood, and then that way I could personalize it. I can put whatever I want up here or down here on the beach. But in fact, I painted 2 of them. I painted, that one's a little bit darker, and then this one. So I'm into the sea turtles. I'm loving it. I'm loving sea turtles. Even though I live in a cornfield in the middle of nowhere in Illinois. But I am just shocked at how many people like sea turtles. So I will be showing them as soon as they come in. Now, when I have things printed on wood like that, I gotta sit for a couple of hours and just really detail it out so it's perfect. Then I have them printed on wood so that they can reproduce them. And then I'll be selling them on my page and over in Virtual Home Decor Marketplace. In fact, the marketplace starts Saturday. Saturday we have live sales. Guys, tomorrow is it Monday? I think Sue's on here. Is cleanup days here in Casey. And I'm going to put a bunch of clearance items over on Virtual Home Decor Marketplace next week during our clearance days. Because I got a clean house. I got to get rid of some stuff. Okay, now we want to go back to another one. Let's take a 1/2 inch. We won't make them as wide. But now all you have to do, so you've got your red and white stripes, but it don't look good. So it doesn't take a whole lot to make them look good. Remember when Hobby Lobby had their paints on clearance? $1.07. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to take my brush and you know what, maybe I do want a little bit wider brush. Yeah, I do. That one's about to come off the handle. Let's see how far it takes us. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up a corner of brown and we're just going to blend it right in there. And that's going to separate our stripes. And now you'll see a big difference in the way it looks. Oops. And I'm not worried about it getting on the red because on the red we are going to shade with black. And I think I have a lot of time and this won't take long, but I'm going to have to keep track. Because otherwise, I have somebody after me. I usually like to try to get the last spot so I can go over and have a little bit more time, but I don't got that tonight, so. Okay. See how that blends in nicely? Just on the corner. So think of you can even take a glass vase that you get at Dollar Tree. Spray paint the glass with a matte black and you can paint anything on it. You don't, guys, I preach all the time. Don't let the fact that, especially paint colors, shut you down from being creative because you don't need all the fancy stuff. I've made a living for 25 years painting for a profit. This is what I call my group. And I don't buy the fancy stuff. Now I do, kind of, because I don't have to use paint out of the gallon anymore. But you don't need all the bells and whistles. And I'm going to prove that to you right here. And at Home Depot, they have a barn paint. And it's got a picture of a barn on it. I don't know, last time, I haven't bought it for a long time because I don't need that much barn red, but if you needed it, it's the perfect shade of barn red, and it used to be like $14 a gallon. It was my go-to for anything red. I got white by the gallon. And I got all these surfaces really cheap at the auctions. So I didn't have hardly anything as far as expense in whatever I painted. Because I don't want, I want to paint for a profit. I want to make money at it. I don't want to have to buy certain colors of paint, or I don't want to be shut down if I don't have barn red, as far as I never realized how many people need an exact color in order to paint. I just pick up a brown's brown. I don't care if it, I was saying the other day, I don't care if it's nutmeg brown or milk chocolate. There ain't too much of a difference, so don't let people tell you that there's a big difference in paint. Because, as I said when I was making my little speech, I'm pretty sure that in all my years of painting that no one has ever come up to something I painted and said, oh my gosh, I think she used, I don't think that's really barn red, do you? No, I don't think she used Heritage Red. I think they don't say that. Nobody says that. Nobody cares what color your red is, you know? If it's not red enough, put some brown in it. Nobody cares. And so many people get hung up that they don't have a certain red that's called for in a pattern. Those colors are only there to make you buy more paint. All right. Hi, Michelle. Linda, you got trouble with the shading? Renee's painting Uncle Sam. I'm not an Uncle Sam painter. I don't know. I'm not. How many of you, I'm 60. How many of you remember back in the day being scared of Uncle Sam? Because up on the courthouse square were those signs with that grouchy old man with his finger pointed at you saying, I want you. I had nightmares about that guy. I did not like it whatsoever. I don't care if it's iconic. I thought it was pretty scary when I was a kid and everybody was going off to war and stuff, and you got that guy pointing at you, and you didn't know when you were, middle school whether he wanted you or the 18-year-old boy or who he wanted. All I know is I didn't want anything to do with him. So that's what we did back then. I got 20 minutes. So.
Now we're gonna run back.
What do you need?
We're just gonna talk.
Grass like a dog over there.
Ready?
Okay.
Let's see what's even out there. Hold on your name.
All right. So, now I did make a really cute Uncle Sam porch sitter that I'll show you when we're done. I sold out of those. Those are cute, but I don't know. That guy sitting there pointing his finger at me wasn't cute. Hi, Maria. So, what I did there was I just put a little bit of black on the edge of my brush and I smoothed it out right there. Okay, so look how much different that's looking already. Now we can even take it a step further where we have the Heritage Brick, and I can dip my brush, just the corners, all you need, and then I blend it out here on my tin foil. And just take it back and forth. Now I'm not worried about this ridge because this ridge I'm going to go over at the end and clean it up. But now you keep your black to that brown. It cleans up your line. And it creates some depth in there. So even if you think you can't paint, you can paint this. And if you have problems with shading, you can do it an even more primitive way, which I'll show you. I would just take a round brush, get some black paint on it. Really don't want to write on my brown paper. I just cleaned it. Take some of that black paint off and dry brush. You're getting about the same effect and a more primitive hand painted look. That's all you have to do to it. Just don't put a lot of paint on your brush if you're going to dry brush like that. And being, I want it to look old, I don't care that I get some black over there either. And my back, sorry about that. Let's see. So see, there's not much difference between me taking that time to do that and then me trying to dry brush. In fact, it'd save you a little bit more time. Go across the top there. Oops. But just adding all that black and brown, now we have the look that we want. And next, I'm just going to go in, take a dry brush, and now we're going to pull some highlights. And this is going to give you depth, and it's going to pull out the center. So you just want a dry brush that's pretty well used. And I'm going to dip it in some white. Now the secret to dry brushing, because you don't want a whole lot, is to make sure that you get most of it off on your paper towel. Yeah, the black goes on there pretty easy. So see when you dry brush that right there? Oops, I got some on the blue. Now that doesn't look so plain. See the difference in the two? Hi, Tiffany. Sorry, my brush keeps hitting. I don't like these long brushes. I got 14 minutes. We got this. And you can see a little bit goes a long way. I went all the way around there with just a little bit. So you want your paint to be like a powder is what you want it to end up being. Okay, so I can go right here. I want to lighten up the center of my teapot. My brush has still got plenty of paint on it. I think that's the part where people make a mistake, is they always think they need a lot of paint, and you don't. You just need, you don't need the paint at all. A little paint goes a long way. So see how now it's starting to look even better. So we'll go back over to this side. I'm just scrubbing that in there. And so if you're just joining, this was just a silver teapot when we started. Add some, I will find some fabric and wrap around the handle. You could either keep the lid on, paint it blue, do the same thing, or you could fill it with flowers, a flag, and make a cute little centerpiece. And nobody's, unless they take the lid off and see that it's nice and clean in there. Well, I guess it does have a plastic spout, but it's all right. Nobody's gonna look at it that close. Okay, I want to take my brown and I want to clean up this line here going across my white because it's too white at the top. And then we're just going to letter it. Now all you would have to do, or what you could do, is be done at this point and then stencil some stars on. I switched projects, so I don't have a star stencil to use at the moment. And then on those red ones, I'm going to touch down on a little bit of black and just go over the top. That way it cuts off your blue from your stripes. So you have all these different elements. And you can tell, at least by doing something like this, nothing's straight, nothing's perfect. It's just looks like a primitive pot. And it actually looks good. I'm going to kind of do it up a little bit fancy with my lettering, but just stencil some stars on there. Nobody will ever know it's not an old antique. I know. Well, when you could easily make this. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Tara. Hi, Elizabeth. So let me dry that up, and then I'm going to letter it. I was going to do a saw, you guys. I was running late at the last minute, and I had this old saw. And I thought, oh, we're going to paint that red, white, and blue, because I used to do a lot of these. And then I would paint the stripes, and then I'd write America across it. But I came in here, I pushed the Go Live button, and I thought, well, I want to do this side. And then guess what happened? I didn't notice that I had already painted it for Halloween last year, so I had to grab a teapot really quick. This was one of my favorites. Christina, you would do the exact same thing, what I did to the teapot. I wouldn't have done anything different. But I used spray paint to get that marbling effect, all by accident. I didn't even have any inkling, but I mixed the spray paint and it was wet. And so if you see that marbling kind of in there, that's all natural, what the spray paint did. So, but if I was going to paint this red, white, and blue, I would paint all the way up to here blue, the handle here, and then you only have room, you could make your stripes like a 1/4 inch, put your stripes that way, and then you could stencil your star right in here, because it gets harder if you try to stencil a star there. But that's how I would do those. I could have made it a 2-sided, but it would hang differently, so I thought I better grab a teapot. But once you learn how to do these stripes, you can do it on anything. You don't have to just do a saw or a teapot, anything. This is the teapot that I made earlier this week. You can do lettering on it. You could do a sunflower. They make up in all different kinds of ways. So we're just going to put America across this one. Okay. So I'm going to take a long liner brush. Oh, there we go. And now this is going, well, we got to clean up that bottom rim. 15, I got 7 minutes, we're good. But look how old that thing looks. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jackie. I just use a clear outdoor spray. Don't buy anything from Hobby Lobby because it's too expensive. I go down to our local hardware store or Walmart or Menards, and I buy the cheapest clear outdoor gloss that they have. I like my things glossy, but you can also get it in a matte. So, like I said, I'm cheap when I paint. I want to make money. I don't need all the fancy things to make money. Okay, so we're just going to kind of put this in here. It's not going to stay this way, and I know my lines are kind of wonky, but I'm going to line it in there, and then we'll go back and make it pretty. I just want to make sure that I'm going to make it all the way to where I want it to go. One good thing about when you do red, white, and blue though, is if I'm off where I might have more room here, I would just add a star over on that side. Oh, and while we do that, you can go back through your lines and you can add some definition lines here, or some decals. On the white, you can do the black. I used to take these teapots, and you know how popular granite is. I would make my teapots look like granite just by making them black first and then going over with the white glossy paint and then painting black on top of it in spots. And I was so good at that, people couldn't tell that it wasn't granite. Is that what? Enamel wear. I couldn't tell that it was an enamel until they took off the lid. And they're like, oh, this is an enamel. Because I could do it with the red, and I'd paint the handle red or black, whichever one I wanted to do. And I used to make a lot of things look enamel, because it's something that I collect in my kitchen. So, you know, and if you wanted it the blue splattered, I'd do that and then splatter paint it. And then paint a snowman on it, and then somebody would pick it up and say, oh, look at this pot. And be like, oh, it's not old. But that's okay, because it costs you more to paint on an enamel pot than it does on anything else. I even did it with glass vases. It was really good. I used to always tease my kids and say that I raised them by painting on jars. I used to paint a lot of jars, and my jars would be, some of them, remember when you could paint them translucent, put them in the oven, and they looked like they were ball jars? I made a lot of them enamel. People would pick them up and say, I didn't know they made enamel jars. Nope, they didn't. 4 different Santas and painted them. Yay, Margaret. Hi, Nancy. Thank you. Thanks, Linda and Michelle. So, yeah, no special sealer. It can come from Walmart. A sealer is a sealer. I have never had a problem. I wish I had sprayed that pot I just showed you, because I would take my fingernail and show you that it's not going to come off. But I do like shiny, so mine would be shiny. I got 3 minutes. So I got a little bit of space here. Just come in. Now, I don't want to leave that white because it doesn't match the rest of the pot. So we're going to dry it, and we're going to hope for the best that I don't smear white paint. I may stay off of the star because this has a little bit more. So it's just kind of doing a primitive wash to it. So after the last presenter, I think there may be 1 or 2 more. I'm going to come back on my business page and work on those sea turtles. Let's make sure that it's dry. And then, like I said, I don't own a lot of material or ribbons because that's not my thing. But you could wrap that with some blue homespun, red homespun, call it a day. Make sure I don't have any thick lines. So practice this with anything. Your saw. Like I said, I almost picked up a toolbox to do. Bucket. You can even take a... I was so thrifty back in the day when we painted things and did craft shows. You can even take a plastic bucket, spray it with black plastic spray paint, and do the same thing, and nobody will ever know. I like that saying, nobody will ever know. All right, so I'm going to water down my brown, and I just want to hopefully not run anything. Hopefully it's all dry. And if you wanted to grunge it up more, you could just take your cinnamon, spray it a little bit, douse it with some cinnamon. But see, doesn't that match up really good now? You don't have that glaring white. In fact, I could go in there to those white lines. Now I need to be brown. But it's perfect. Now I will go around the bottom here with a little bit of black.